Hi, welcome to your Hydrasession Facial. Super happy to have you here. You are gonna need your facial kit that was gifted to you either by myself or maybe a friend. We're gonna be using that obviously, and then sit down and relax, grab your favorite beverage. I like to have a washcloth. And I also like to have like a hand towel to dry my hands and kind of pat my face dry between steps. And other than that, we should be good to go, other than, of course, some water. So I'm sitting in my bathroom, my beautiful bathroom here, you can see. But other than that, I think we're good to go. So before we dive right in here, I just kind of wanted to explain what this is and what to expect so you don't feel, overwhelmed. And just know that I'm going to walk you through every single step and explain it very thoroughly so that you feel comfortable doing this. But what we're doing today is really a fun treat for your skin. It's called a Hydrasession Facial, and this would be very, very comparable to if you had to go to a med spa or a dermatology spa and got a treatment done. This would be and is one of the treatments or something very, very similar to what that would be offered at one of these places. And it's going to really transform your skin. You're going to notice things in your skin that you haven't seen in a long time or possibly have never seen before. And that's positive. You also might expose some areas that your skin is lacking in, and you maybe knew that already or maybe didn't know. And we're going to talk about solutions for those as well. So my name is Rachel. I don't know if I mentioned that, but if you didn't know, my name is Rachel, and I have been a Mary Kay independent beauty consultant for 14 or 15 years. I can't quite remember. So my favorite thing is to teach women how to take care of their skin properly and how to learn their personal skin and learn how to be intuitive with what their skin needs at what time, and how to go about that in the best way to keep your skin healthy, to keep it looking the way you want it to look, and get the best bang for your buck too. So before we dive right in, I'm going to tell you kind of what areas we're going to focus on a little bit today. So there's 3 main areas of like basic skincare. What should I be doing with my skin on a daily basis? But there's obviously tons of things out there, right? Lots of buzzwords, lots of ingredients out there. And so just honing in on like all of that overwhelming information, saying, what do I really need to be doing? What are the basics? And then later, if you want to add in some of those other things, that's perfectly great. But it's really good to start with these basics. You'll understand what your skin is lacking and what you might need to add in or might not be something that you need to spend your money on. So the 3 basic areas, there's 3 to 5, but we're going to talk about 5. We'll touch briefly on 5, but we're going to really hone in on the first 3. The first one being cleansing our skin. So that's using a facial cleanser, something made for your face, not a bar of soap or anything like that. And the reason being is our face is really different than the rest of our body. It operates differently, and it requires different things, and it acts differently. So a bar of soap is probably not going to be our best bet in any form. And then just water is not going to do enough. So our skin has moisture, right? It produces natural oils. And so what do oil and water do? They repel each other. So you're going to really do nothing with just water. You're going to actually just I splashed some water on my face, but I didn't change it. So we're going to talk a lot about that, and we're going to use some different forms of that. And then the second step we're going to talk about is exfoliation, which a lot of people pass over or don't know enough about. That's actually my other favorite step, other than the next one I'm going to talk about. Exfoliation is super, super, super important, and we're going to talk about why. And then the first optional step, one of the 5 that's kind of optional, is toning, which I'm sure you've heard a lot about. It's kind of a buzzword. Toning is optional because not everyone needs it and not everybody should be using it. It depends on your skin type and your level of skin damage, right? So we're going to touch on that. That's kind of an extension of cleansing. And then the third one that's really non-negotiable is hydration. Hydration. This should always be our first priority, okay? Whether we have oily skin or whether we have dry skin, we need different forms of hydration for our skin type. We're often not using enough. We're not using quality enough hydration. We're not using the right forms. So we're going to talk a lot about that today too. And then the last one that is optional to people would be protection or defense. And so that's going to be our sunscreen. And we will touch on that briefly. So let's hop right in. We are going to start with cleansing. That's always our first step. I'm going to grab, I have these little fun cuff things, and I use these every day and every evening. I got them on Amazon. What they're going to do is they're going to prevent water from running down all the way down your arm, because I hate that feeling with passion. And then we're going to put a headband on if you feel like it. I'm going to leave mine off. So before we actually get into the cleanser, I want to talk about one important thing, and that's makeup. If you're a makeup wearer, I'm not wearing any today, but if you are, we want to make sure we're getting that off. Our makeup is interesting, right? So first off, if you have lower quality ingredients in your makeup, they're definitely going to dry out your skin or create oils. So fun fact, oily skin is actually dehydrated as well. It's just presenting as oils overproducing, rather than a dry skin person knows, like my face is dry. It feels like tight and sucked up and just uncomfortable. So makeup can exacerbate those issues if we leave it on. Also, every time we don't cleanse our skin, we actually age our skin up to 7 days. We accelerate the process of aging by not cleansing. So we want to do this in the most effective and gentle way. Anytime we're using any skincare, whether it's Mary Kay or brand XYZ, we want to be gentle and kind to our skin. We don't want to tug, we don't want to pull, we don't want to scrub super hard. Those are all things that are going to make it worse. So the first thing I would suggest is having a really good eye makeup remover. And I'm not talking about makeup wipes. Makeup wipes have a lot of chemicals that are harsh and are overdoing certain things. Not only are we pulling and tugging and scrubbing and grabbing all that and just working really hard to get it off, usually with a makeup wipe, but there's some chemicals in there that are going to grab out all of our good oil too, especially for dry skin girls, that we don't want taken out. We want to cleanse and balance our skin in a gradual process, not always this full tilt, harsh, way of doing it. So as you can see, mine is just about gone. This is our oil-free eye makeup remover. You're not going to find anything like this in the world. It is patented. And there is, you can't see because there's none left, but there's 2 layers in here. One is for a waterproof makeup and one is for non-waterproof. So you just shake it together. And then the other thing I'm going to say is, what tools are you using on your skin? I like to use microfiber whenever possible. Microfiber, my washcloth is microfiber. The hand towel I showed you is microfiber. And then I'm using microfiber to remove my eye makeup too, and my face makeup. This is an example. This is just something Mary Kay had, limited edition at one point. It's a microfiber pad. So you can tell it's really nicely woven. There's also some really great other ones that I like, that if you want more info about, I can tell you. But this is going to be gentle. So we're going to douse this on here. I prefer to go ahead and use a decent amount with my eye makeup remover, because I want it to be really effective, and this is really effective, but especially with mascara, right? So eye makeup remover is going to take off all forms of eyeshadow, eyeliner, brow products, whether they're cream, waterproof, whatever it is. It's going to take them right off. Like, they will just swipe right off, right? Really gently. And I'm not pressing, I'm just gently wiping. It's going to take them all right off. And then mascara is obviously a little more stubborn because it's meant to be. The way it is applied and how the product type and what you're doing is just very different. So what I like to do with my saturated end is I'm going to let it sit on the lashes And I'm just gonna hang out for 15, 20, maybe 30 seconds, start unscrewing your other caps, get something ready, walk around and, do something real quick. I'm gonna let it sit and let it work and break down that mascara and dissolve it. And then I'm just gonna wiggle back and forth. Okay, and then I'll swipe. Usually there's some underneath, so I go in and rub that off. And then just kind of continue that process until I have it all off. A couple times and we're good to go. This also has a conditioning agent, so you're actually going to be nourishing your lashes while you remove your mascara. And oftentimes I feel like they feel better after I'm done than before I started. Okay? So that's going to be your eye makeup. Very important to do that, and very important to do it gently. And then the next step, this is a micellar water. There's tons of them out there, right? This is something you've heard about. Ours is super concentrated and super high quality. So where I said that I'm going to use like a good amount of this, that's my preference. This you don't need a lot of, okay? So I'm going to say like this is good, okay? Maybe a dime. But especially if you're wearing minimal makeup, okay? Because it's just it's so concentrated, it grabs so much stuff that you just don't need a ton of it. And especially if you're not wearing makeup, but you want to do like a double cleanse of sorts. Like let's say you've been gardening or working out or sweating in any capacity, whatever it is, or you just have like a job that has like really bad air, right? And there's just a ton on your face. The other thing too is like, if you ever wake up in the morning and choose to use this, and we'll talk about some reasons why, your pillow has some nasty stuff on it, your pillowcase. So keep that in mind. I've done this in the morning, like I've done it in the evening and then did it again in the morning. In the morning, my face was dirtier than at night because I clearly needed to change my pillowcase. And we just, especially if we're not taking our makeup off and all that stuff, like our pillowcase just harbors all the dirt. So this is super, super good for showing you what's on your face as well. But you can put that on another microfiber, wipe all your makeup off. I personally have another method that I choose to use and like for removing makeup. I like a different cleanser than the one we're going to try out today, but something I want to show you. This is from another line of ours. We'll talk about it a little bit. This is called our Time Wise Repair Voluform Foaming Cleanser. Now, just because it's foaming does not mean it's drying. It's not a gel cleanser. It's like a cashmere silky cleanser. And I'm a dry skin girl, so I cannot be using a gel cleanser or anything that strips my face. I love this cleanser, but I do find that just for my skin type, which is like super, super, super dry, it dries me out a little teeny bit further than I want it to if I'm not wearing makeup and using it. So if I'm just using it like right now, I just have to be more careful because a little bit of this goes a long way. Like you only need like the size of like a pencil eraser or a pea. You just don't need a ton because all of our products are very concentrated, so they last a long time. But I like to use this to remove my makeup. I like micellar water, but I feel like I need two cotton pads or microfiber pads, and I just feel like I like this better. It really melts my makeup, gets it all off. So when I'm wearing makeup, this is my cleanser. When I'm not wearing makeup, I'm going to use the cleanser that we use. So let's hop into that. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is you're going to grab your long strip. And these are based on your skin type, whether you're more dry to normal. You should have a pink stripe on the back, like right here. Otherwise, if you have purple, you're more combination to oily skin. The first thing we're going to start with is we are going to start with our Time Wise 4-in-1 cleanser. So that's all the way here, all the way to your left. And just know that all of these samples, you should be able to get like 2 to 3 uses out of, right? So don't go too crazy. My favorite method for cleansing over the sink is I like to not get my hands wet, not get my face wet. Make sure I have my little cuffs here. This is what our like full-size bottle looks like. I'm going to put some on my finger. about this much. You can play with that if you need a little less, a little more. And then I like to rub it between my fingers. Again, no water yet. And then, so if you're at the sink and you're using the faucet, run it under the faucet. If you're like me, I'm using a bowl, I'm just gonna dip my fingers in it. And then I have some water on my hands and I'm gonna start scrubbing. Okay? We're gonna scrub, 20 to 30 seconds, making sure we get everywhere in an upward and outward motion. And ideally, the goal for skin is to cleanse twice a day. Once in the morning, once in the evening. I touched on that a little bit about, in the morning, all the yuck from our pillowcase and everything else while we were sleeping. We're going to get that off. And then at night, obviously, we're going to take off makeup for sure. And then we've been walking around, and there's pollution, there's all sorts of things. So removing all that is going to help our skin tremendously. We're going to be able to make sure all of our other products get in better. We're going to prevent aging. We're going to keep our skin clean, so it's going to feel healthy, all that stuff. If you have the normal to dry cleanser, it's more creamy. Feels very, very soft. If you have the combination to oily cleanser, it's a gel, so it's going to be a little bit more sudsy. Whenever you're done and you feel good about that, you can take your washcloth, get it wet. I'm sure you can hear mine. And then we're just going to wipe it off. So again, be really gentle. You don't need to press really hard or tug and pull, especially if you're using microfiber. It has little fingers, so it grabs the product, and that's really helpful. Now, when we're cleansing and doing all of our skincare, I'm not doing it for A, the sake of time, and B, just because it's a little harder to demonstrate when you're doing it over the sink. But we want to do our skincare on our face, but then we want to take it down our neck too. And we can also do this chest décolleté area. And that's gonna, all that skin ages and get sun exposure and all that stuff. So we can keep all of that healthy and do our skincare all the way through there. Obviously, cleansing is super easy in the shower, right? You just have it with you. You have your water source, all that jazz. So it's super easy to do that. So obviously, if you have really damaged skin, like really, really dry skin or really sensitive skin, which I'm just going to tell you right now, skin sensitivity, unless you're actually allergic to a set ingredient, super sensitive skin is super dehydrated skin. Your skin feels really painful to the touch and products and stuff like that and you have breakouts because you don't have enough hydration deep down into your skin. We have lots of layers and they're all lacking, and so it creates irritation. So now that we have our cleanser, that should feel really nice. If it feels a little tight or anything like that, just know you're a bit dehydrated or possibly super dehydrated. So these are normal things. This is going to help you gauge where you're at. Okay, the next thing, I forgot, and I'm going to grab it because it's right here. Because I like to use it in the shower. There it is. This is going to be our first step, step and a half, at exfoliating. So the cleanser that you just used actually had little beads in it, and so it's called a 4-in-1 cleanser for a reason, because we're cleansing. There's little exfoliating beads that are super gentle, and the reason we don't want harsh exfoliation every day is because our skin can't handle that. If we harshly exfoliate every day, we're breaking down our good skin, our healthy skin that we're exposing when we do a harsh exfoliation. And then we are going to cause irritation, sensitivity, things like that. We're going to do more damage than we're going to do good. So there's gentle exfoliating beads. There's small toning beads, and then there's a brightening agent to brighten your skin and even the tone. So this next thing we're going to do is not in the same strip. We are going to look for this dark pink strip. And we're going to use both today, both sides, but we're going to use the bigger side today that says Microdermabrasion Refine right here. Okay? So again, a little's going to go a long way. This is a really, really nice physical exfoliant treatment, and it's very water activated. So this is the tube. It was in my shower because it's super easy to do in there because you need water and these crystals, they're called aluminum oxide crystals. These are the same ones that are used at a fancy spa, but they're much more accessible this way and affordable. So those kind of travel everywhere and we need to have some water to rinse them. So I'm going to do the same method I did with my cleanser. Put some in my hand, spread it around. You can see it's all over my fingers. Get some water, and you might need to get a little bit extra water this time. You'll know right away. And then we're just going to start scrubbing. If you have very, very sensitive skin or like an open cut or anything like that, please avoid that area. And if your skin is super sensitive, just do this really gently, or maybe just skip it. If you're like, this is too intense, that's okay. Your skin is damaged and it's just not ready for this kind of a treatment, and that is okay. You will feel these crystals though. You will feel like a level of intensity. And we're just going to keep scrubbing for about 30 to 60 seconds. So again, like I would do this in the shower because it's so easy there. And I would do my neck and I would do my décolleté area. And it would be super great. So why do we exfoliate? So our face builds up with dead skin cells every day. So that's why I talked about cleansing and exfoliating. Like we got to get that stuff off so that our other products can get in and our skin can breathe and all of that stuff. I want you to think about a baby and how their skin is so soft and smooth. That's because their skin exfoliates itself once every 5 days. And then as we age, that process gets further and further apart. That's why like younger kids, their skin is very soft, but it's not baby soft. And then teenagers, their skin is soft, but it's not, young kid soft. And it just that gap keeps widening. So as we get to adulthood, our skin only exfoliates itself once per month. So think of that. We go from every 5 days to once per month. So this product is going to help that along. We're going to get all the dead skin cells out of our pore. So if you are someone who struggles with large pores or anything like that, this is going to be a good helping agent in that because it's getting, our pores are shaped like a V, and we can't change the size of our pore. That is not, that's a myth. But what you can do is you can stretch your pore out by having too much gunk in it. It's going to stretch it out. So if we clear that out, it can contract back together and look healthier, smaller. So whiteheads, blackheads, pore size. This is also going to help with wrinkles, fine lines, stuff like that. The other thing I would absolutely say about this is because you've got to get that dead skin off your face, like I said, so it can breathe. And just start wiping this off whenever you're ready. If you're not using this product particularly, you're kind of wasting money. And what I mean by that is like if you're spending money on your skincare and taking care of your skin and all that stuff, and you're not exfoliating your skin, then the other products can't get past those dead skin cells. It's this big barrier. And so they just kind of get stuck up on those dead skin cells and absorbed. And it's not actually getting down into your skin, into the pore where it needs to be. So you're just kind of wasting product, right? Because it's not doing what you want it to do. So to me, this is kind of a non-negotiable step. And for those who can't use it because their skin is too sensitive right now and too dry, has too much damage, and oily skin can be damaged too. So you can still have sensitivity. Then I like to work with you individually on how we can start increasing hydration in your skin, and we can also use the microdermabrasion in a modified way to be able to get exfoliation but not have the sensitivity as well. So just know that whatever skin type you have, whatever sun damage or just moisture damage, we can work with that and we can really repair it and get it to a point where you can start using things the way you want and your skin will just really thank you for it and start looking a lot better. So just know that you might find a stray crystal here and there. I can feel one right there. I'm looking at my mirror here, so that's why I might look away. But you should notice your skin might be looking brighter right away because those dulling dead skin cells are being taken away. You might notice how much softer it is, the texture. So another thing too, this is a really great product if you say my skin is really textured, I just feel like it's pitting and like lots of stuff like that. This is a really great product for that. So something I think everyone should be using. I don't really think it's like negotiable, but that's an easy one. Something I wanted to mention too is like it's okay to have more than one cleanser like I mentioned. I'm keeping usually this one over the sink and this one in my shower. So that way I have both because I use both in different instances. And then because we usually shower, either morning or evening, whatever your method is, it's really annoying to grab a cleanser and then travel it to the shower. And then when you go to the sink in the morning or in the evening, the opposite of what you were doing, it's in the shower. So I gotta go grab it. And then the worst is when you get in the shower and you're already wet and you reach for your cleanser and you're like, it's not in here. So I like to have two. I call this one the shower cleanser. But I truly actually have four. I have two of each. So there's an opportunity as well for you to get a shower cleanser for free. But something else I do is like when I'm halfway done or like 2/3 of the way done or whatever, I will order my new cleanser. For me, I'm just taking it off my shelf and then pop this one in the shower so that I have them both where I need them. Because if we have it where we need it, then we use it. All right, so now we've exfoliated and we're gonna do a little bit more exfoliation in a little bit. But this is one of my favorite products and I want you to save this for later. We are going to use it, but since we're gonna do more exfoliating, we're gonna do it after that because it is a leave-on product. The next thing we're gonna do, this is our deep cleansing charcoal mask. So it's this white packet with a green stripe. I'm gonna be using the full-size bottle, which looks, very similar and clearly has some charcoal on it. And you guys don't have one of these, in your sample kit, but this is an amazing little tool. This is our little mask applicator. I call it a spatula. And when we put this product on, a couple things. A little goes a long way. Remember, 2 to 3 uses out of every packet. So don't go crazy. Start small. What we're going to be doing with this product is we're going to put it everywhere on our face. In theory, we're not going to do the eyes. Pretend you're wearing glasses or goggles. Stay away from there. And then we're not going to get super close to our lips. We're going to kind of avoid that too. Again, if you have very sensitive areas, avoid that. If you have an open cut, avoid that. If you have really dry skin, we are going to use this more as a spot treatment than a whole face mask. Okay, so like you're not going to see me put it everywhere. It's okay to do that once in a while, especially if your skin feels very dirty, because we're going to do a deep cleanse. Now that we've gotten our pores opened up, got that dead skin off, we're going to be able to get down in there. And one of the ingredients in here is obviously activated charcoal. This can hold up to twice its weight in dirt and oil and impurities. And so its goal is to grab excess dirt, excess oil. So oily girls, this is kind of your product. But dry skin girls, we don't have any excess oil to give away. So we don't want to do too much with this. Some places I feel are really quite safe are the nose. Right in here, our nose is just volatile. It's so gross. There's so much stuff here. The chin is kind of safe as well. Like anyone who has like hormonal breakouts and stuff, there's usually some funky stuff here. The T-zone more, and then kind of up in here is safer. This can be more dry. You are welcome to put it wherever you want, and you will kind of be able to see what it does. It's kind of a roadmap. So the other thing I'm going to say is a thin layer is fine. This does not need to be black or super thick. A thin layer goes a long way. So I'm going to paint, but you can use your fingers. And I'm looking in my mirror a little bit. But the first thing you're going to probably notice is a really nice smell. That's peppermint, eucalyptus, rosemary, which all help. This also has navy bean extract, and that is a brightening agent. So anyone who says like I have rosacea or uneven skin tone in that manner, this is going to help brighten those areas. If you have anywhere that you know you have like an active pimple or like a lot of oil deposit, this should definitely go there. Even if you have dry skin and you have a pimple, put it on there. Because it is going to grab that too. As this dries, the clay will turn from this like darker gray into a lighter gray. And that's when you kind of can tell as well that like it's done. So you can leave this on from anywhere from 5 minutes to 20 minutes. I don't think many people need that full 20 though. And especially dry skin people, we need more in the 5 to 10 is a good range. Sometimes 15 if you have really dirty or oily skin. And it's going to draw all of that out. And I'm just going to dry my hands off real quick. So as this dries, it will turn to that lighter gray color, and what'll happen is you will see your pores. It'll look like a bunch of dots, right? You'll see your pores, and they might stay a darker gray, like this color, but the rest is going to be like this pretty, almost like a blue gray. And what that is the little dark dots, that's oil. That's all the gross stuff that we're pulling out of our skin. And if you see a white spot, that is bacteria, and that is a pimple either coming through now or coming through, soon. So I'm going to give you some advice for acne and blemishes. This is actually part of our Clear Proof line. Is it an extension or like an add-on, a supplement? We have a line that's called Clear Proof, and it's just for people who have very like moderate to severe acne. Mild acne can pretty much be treated with a combination of this and hydrating your skin properly, and doing these 3 basic steps that we talked about: cleansing properly, getting all the dirt out and all the bacteria out, exfoliating so our skin is not getting clogged. This is also going to help with clogging, and then hydrating it properly. So I don't like to jump into the Clear Proof acne line until we really have some severe issues. But that will help clear up acne, and you start seeing results within 7 days. But I like to consult with everyone, making sure that that's what we're looking at, rather than like you can also have what I call dry skin acne, where it's a bump, but it never really comes to a head. It's almost like stuck beneath the surface. That is a major sign that you are over cleansing and under hydrating your skin, because basically what we're doing is we're removing the moisture and the oils in our skin, and our skin says, hey, you've taken out all of the moisture in our skin, and our skin wants to create like a homeostasis. It wants to be in balance with moisture. So it says, oh, you took it all away, let's make more. And so it's too dry, it can't produce what it needs, and so it creates like a pimple, but it's like under our skin, because it's not like a bacteria that needs to come out. It's just trying really hard to moisturize itself. So if you have that, this is the product you want to avoid as well. But then for women who have that bacteria, they all come to a head. This is a good one to treat all of those spots. So if I have a blemish, here or whatever, I tend to get them here. Sometimes, I get them all over once in a while. But when you have it, take this, just take a dot of it. Also, this might start drying and kind of feeling tight and maybe even itching a little bit. If it's itching, that's a sign that area is lacking moisture as well. So you're going to take a dot, you're going to treat it like if I have one right here. I'm just going to put a dot on, and you can put that on all throughout the day if you work at home, or just morning and evening. Keep drying it out. Don't do your whole face, because again, we don't want to do this every day. This is like 2 times a week for someone with oily skin. For us girls with dry skin, maybe twice a month, or even just 1 time a month, depending on how dry you are. Again, this area is a little safer. This always kind of gets yucky in the nose. So we're going to keep putting a dot on, treating it. It's going to pull it out. If you're someone who likes to pop your pimples, this is going to be a good avenue, because it's going to pull it out to a point where it's like it's falling out. You're going to see that whitehead, that bacteria and you can just gently pop it without hurting it. And then you're going to also treat it a couple more times, and that's going to pull out any inflammation, redness, excess stuff that's stuck in there, and it's going to take that inflamed area and bring it down. So I love this for acne. Also, just know that as you're using this, like since it's your first time, you might experience that in a couple of days you get some pimples that are coming out that you're like, why is my face breaking out? Well, if it's the stuff that's coming to a head, that's just a bunch of bacteria and dirt and gross that was stuck deep down in your pores, and up until this point you haven't been able to get deep enough to cleanse that stuff out, so it's going to come through. If that happens, take a little bit more of this and just treat those areas, like I said, or do the mask one more time if your whole face can handle it, if it doesn't feel like over dried or anything like that. And just really give yourself a deep cleanse and get all this stuff out. You're going to love how that feels. So we're going to let this dry for a second. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit more about like those basic skincare that we talked about. The one that the strip that we used that looks like this. We are not going to use the whole thing today, but you can tomorrow. There will be instructions, and we are going to sample it today. We're just going to do it in a little bit of a different way, which I guess we could do right now. So I want you to go ahead and, whether you're cutting, whatever, take all the tops off. What we're going to do is we're going to just experience what a basic daily skincare operation kind of looks like. Like, what do I need to do? This will take you less than 3 minutes in the morning, less than 3 minutes in the evening. And I just want to give you what the real stuff looks like as we go. So, okay, since we already cleansed our face and we're going to be doing, this isn't a facial treatment. So this isn't a daily treatment, what we're doing. You can use all of these individually a couple of times a week, depending on your skin type and level of damage. But they are supplemental, essentially, meaning we don't use them on a daily basis because they're going to do more than we need our skin to do on a daily basis, and we don't want to cause any damage or drying our skin out or anything like that. So all of these extras are a couple times a week, or if you're doing them all together like we are, you can do this 1 to 2 times a month. So ideal would be like every other week, and it's going to take you about 30 minutes. I like to do these treatments to take care of my skin at home in a more cost-effective way. I can get to this appointment for myself, right, much easier than I can scheduling. It's going to cost me a lot less, and then I'm going to prevent my skin from being damaged and need more like of the invasive treatments later in life where you got to use lasers and all that stuff. I don't want to do any of that if I don't have to. So I think it's worth my time and effort. And I really love to do, when I'm not doing a class and I'm doing the facial, I like to watch TV. So my husband and I might, we have a couple shows we watch. So I'll pick a night and I will do this facial treatment while we're watching TV. So he gets annoyed because I'm like, oh, let that commercial run for a second because I have to go, rinse my face and put my next mask on. And he's probably not amused, but I don't care. So I'm doing that 1 week. And then maybe the other week I'm doing a deep hydration treatment, which is going to be like a sheet mask like this. So hydration is our first priority of any of our steps, always, no matter what your skin type is, because hydration will solve 70% of your issues with your skin. It will dramatically improve it. It'll solve problems once you get the right formula for your skin and are using enough of it for your skin. But so on those weeks, I'm popping this on, laying on the couch, enjoying the show that way. The other week, I'm doing my whole, my scrub that we did, my face mask that we're doing, and doing it that way. So that's what I'm doing like extra for my skin. And then on a daily basis, we're doing this. So and you can add some extra hydration into those things, which we will talk about. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to actually pick either to do it on our wrist or the back of your hand, or you can do both if you want to, just to kind of see what happens. And I did this beforehand, and you cannot see it, so I will talk about it in a second. But okay, So you're going to grab your cleanser. We're going to do it the same way. Just kind of rub it between your fingers. Get just a pinch of water. And then I want you to just cleanse this area really gently. Circles. So you can feel what this does. If you want to do the back of your hand, go ahead and do that too. Okay? Now again, if I was wearing makeup, I would be using my foaming cleanser that I like that just melts my makeup, but usually we're not wearing makeup around here, so I love the Time Wise cleanser. It's gentle but effective. And then when you're done, you're just gonna wipe it all off. And if I can find the tag, I'm gonna hang this back up. Okay, perfect. That was cleanser, the one that we had already opened, right? Sorry if that was not very clear. The second step we're going to do, let's try the, if you want, you could do one on one and one on the other. So I'll explain that in a second. Let's do the one on the end here. This is called the nighttime recovery. This is our day and our night serums. So we're going to do this one. This is what it looks like in the bottle. It has a bunch of beads, as you can see. Those are fresh vitamins. They're vitamins A, C, and E, and this is through a pump. So when it goes through this pump, those vitamins burst, and they are being, like, in their truest, most freshest form, released. So you're just, a little bit of this goes a long way, because it's a serum, so it slides nice. So I'm just going to put a dot there and just start rubbing it in. You might come down here a little bit if you have extra. Don't worry about that. Don't do it on the back of your hand, because we're going to do something different there. And this is just a good way for you to feel out like what everything feels like, right? Get the feel for it. See what it does on your skin. And yeah. The last step we're going to do there, and don't worry, I haven't forgotten about the day serum. Now we're going to move on to our antioxidant moisturizer, which is right here. So again, this will have like different texture and density based on what type you have, okay? This is where the day and night solution are the same for both the normal to dry girls and the combination to oily. This is what the antioxidant moisturizer comes in. But the moisturizer and the cleanser are what change according to your skin type and what your skin needs, because some of us need more cleansing. Like the oily girls, we need a deeper cleanse. And the dry girls, we need less cleanse because we don't want to take out the oils that we don't have to give. And then the other side is like the oily girls, your moisturizer is going to be less dense, a little more cooling, a little more just gentle in that area. And then us dry girls are going to have a denser moisturizer, but that does not mean greasy, okay? So I'm going to put a dot here and a dot on the back of my hand and go ahead and rub it in. See what it does for your skin. I just love how it feels. Okay? Get that. And also when you're doing your face, if you have like extra product on your hands, which happens a lot with people that are new to Mary Kay, our stuff is super concentrated, so people get a little out of hand. They're like, oh, I need a ton. Well, then they're like, oh my gosh, my face is greasy. If your face is greasy, you're using too much of our product because it's super concentrated and you don't need that much. The last step we're going to do is the day solution. So for you, it's going to be this one. It's going to be next to the moisturizer. This is empty, and it's just information about sunscreen, basically. And this is that defend, protect step that we were talking about. So you're going to take a little, this is also in a pump, and just put that on your hand. So we did the nighttime recovery here and the daytime defender here. So at night, the night serum happens. During the day serum happens, right? This has sunscreen in it. It also has skincare ingredients that are going to repair, soften, all that stuff. And so this is broad spectrum SPF 30, meaning broad spectrum means it's going to help with the burning rays and the aging rays. And then this also protects against all the stuff that we encounter, like pollution, blue light. I can't think of any of the other ones, but there's like 9 of things that this is protecting you against during the day. Free radicals, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to set that over there before I lose it. So that is just an example of our day daily skincare set. This is our Time-Wise Miracle set, and then it can also come with an eye cream, which I absolutely love. It's super thin. It's just like a drink of water for your under eyes, and our eyes don't produce moisture, and they don't like self-cleanse or exfoliate or anything like that. So that's why we notice aging sometimes here first. That's why we notice the puffiness and the dark circles and all that stuff, because there's nothing really going on here. There's not a lot of circulation, so that's why those things happen. So that's an example of one of our skincare sets. We also have, that one I really like for anyone. It's super basic, good basic anti-aging, helps with firming, brightening, and hydrating really well. We have one that's a level up from that called our Voluform Time-Wise Repair. That's the cleanser I told you about that I like to take my makeup off with. And this is going to be for anyone really like 30 plus who wants to use it, or even 25 plus, but it's going to be really that like more comparable to like other really bougie skincares like Skin Cuticles and stuff like that, where you're getting a ton of anti-aging. You're getting retinol, super buzzword, right? It has encapsulated retinol, so it can be used every day. There's also a lifting serum in there that is phenomenal. Another phenomenal eye cream. I actually just paired the two together and use them both. I'm kind of interchanging and using these two sets together. But if you need like a face lift, that's the set for you, because it's called our Voluform. It's made to really reverse signs of aging that are already present. The Time-Wise is going to help reverse basic aging, and it's going to prevent as well. So those are two, and then we have a really great new skincare. Comes in two formulas, one for hydrating and one for mattifying or oily skin, just like the Time-Wise. It's just called the Mary Kay skincare line, and it's basic skincare. It's those basic steps that we talked about: cleansing, exfoliating, really, really gentle exfoliating, really gentle toning if you need it, and then hydrating. And that's really good for like the young teen girls, so like 8 and up, or someone who wants no anti-aging. Good basic skincare, no anti-aging, but does a really nice job. I like to use pieces of those as well. So now you should be kind of tight, especially if you used a lot. You should also be able to look in your mirror and see the roadmap. Like you can kind of see here in my nose, and like look at these little dark spots. That's oil, dirt, excess oil. My chin has it as well. Lucky me, no white ones this time. Maybe there's a little white one there. Okay, so we're gonna take this off. What you're gonna do is get your washcloth wet. Don't tug and rub right away. This one's super gentle. You don't have to peel it or anything like that. It's super nice for your skin. You're just gonna like set it on there and let it melt for a second, and it'll wipe right away. So go ahead and start wiping it off. And yeah, comes off really nicely. This is another one you could like pop on before you got in the shower if you wanted to, and then that would be an easy way to rinse it off. And like I said, the nose just always has gunk in it. So this is really refreshing. It really like detoxifies your skin. All right. You can get all that off. Take your time. Don't feel like you need to rush. And then, sometimes it hides. All right, I'm going to rinse out my washcloth. And this is also where like microfiber comes in really handy for like these treatments that are on your face, like the crystals. It'll really grab the crystals from the aluminum oxide from the microdermabrasion, and then it helps take off this charcoal mask really, really nicely. We are going to do one more mask that exfoliates. This is what it looks like. This is an extension of that Voluform line that I talked about. If you need like a facelift effect, it's going to come in this like lighter pink, and it says Time-Wise Repair Revealing Radiance Facial Peel. And don't be scared, it's not going to peel your face off. There will be no peeling. Again, a little goes a long way. We're not going to put it around our eyes. We're not going to put it right up to our lips. If you have a super sensitive area or an open cut, please avoid that. This goes on like a lotion. So it's actually transparent. And we're going to let it sit a little bit. And because it goes on like a lotion, you can do your neck. This one's easy to do, anytime with the neck, because it just rinses right off like a lotion. Now, if you feel tingling, that is normal, okay? And if you don't feel tingling, that's okay. It's not like a requirement, but it is normal. And I'm going to tell you what's going on here in just a second. If at any point it feels too intense, because we've done a lot at this point, if your face is feeling like really, really tight or anything like that because your skin is dehydrated, just rinse it off, okay? And just splash a little water on your face, and that'll hold you over a second until we get into the hydrating portion, which is next. But so what this product is doing, this is really amazing. So we did our physical exfoliant on our skin, remember, because we turn over once a month, and we did the microdermabrasion. So now we're going to do what's called a chemical exfoliant. So we get that top layer off. What this does is it goes 2 to 3 layers below that top layer, and there's skin that's turning over. It's ready to be taken off, but it's just like not quite there yet, right? So this is going to, the tingling you're feeling, it happens when you haven't done this in a while or haven't ever done this, because you have a lot of dead skin under the surface there. It's going to go like 2 to 3 layers deep, and it's breaking down these bonds that are like, we're dead, we just haven't quite come to the surface yet. So it's bringing it to the surface, getting it ready to slough off. So if you have sunspots, like sun damage or anything like that, we get little spots and stuff. I have one that I found. I said this past summer last year was the year that like I get, sun freckles and stuff, and like, color in my face, and that some of it's spotty. So this is the year that the spots didn't go away in the winter. So that means sun damage. We all usually have it to some degree. We spend our teens like laying out, getting all the sun, not always using sunscreen, although the teens of today are much different than we were. And mistreating our skin, and then it finally starts showing up in our late 20s and early 30s. But it's there early, but it hasn't come to the surface yet. So as we age, that's what's happening. This is going to help speed up the process of turning over our skin. We're getting the freshest skin, so not only are our other, like our hydrating products, getting absorbed better, but this is going to help with fine lines, wrinkles, all that stuff. So you can use this up to twice a week, as long as you're not using this twice a week as well. So I like to customize that for you. I kind of like to say this is like our first date. So if you're having fun and your face feels good and you like what you're learning, we can go on more dates together. We can learn more. I like to customize everything for my customers. The wonderful thing about Mary Kay is we have lots of skincare lines that cover, all the needs that people have. And the company itself, we test them together. So this one's tested with this one to see how they interact, and everything's formulated to interact together. I don't know that there's many brands or any other brands that do that. They usually stay like, this is tested for this and this is for this. Ours you can mix and match. So you can grab the cleanser from over here and the moisturizer from over here, and mix and match based on your skin needs. And I do that all the time, every day. It's like, I don't even know I don't know if I had to stick to one. I don't know what I would do. So we customize that for you. So everything is really user friendly, and I help you do that. So that's my job. And so it's really fun to know, like, Mary Kay, the name comes from Mary Kay Ash. She was a real lady. She started the company in 1963, so it's been like 61 or 62 years. And it's a family-owned company. Currently, her grandson is the CEO. and I know that like her great granddaughter will take over someday. We just do a lot of good things. Like we're zero landfill status. All of the products are made in USA by our power plant that's fueled by 100% renewable energy. And also, we sell in over 40 countries in the world, so there's markets everywhere. And she wanted to just create a product for women that was super high quality at a good price point, that women can use, but also the other side is there's an opportunity for business. So that's what I do. That's what I've been doing for 15 years. And I get to do fun things, like this is work for me. So that's always fun as well. The other thing too about all of our products is like they're 100% satisfaction guaranteed. You work with whomever your consultant with is, and she will customize everything for you. And let's say like we got the cleanser wrong. You needed something a little different, or the moisturizer. You can give that back to me even if it's like 2 or 3 months in and be like, something's just not quite right. And then we can exchange that. It's no cost to you. It's no cost to me. The company lets us do that. It's like, getting the wrong size t-shirt and you get to send it back and get a new one for free, even if you've been using it. So we really want to take care of our customers. We want to get it right for you. And that's our job. So we have lots of tools, lots of knowledge, lots of support. So if you, even just want a new community of women to be around, Mary Kay is a really good one for that. And we just have lots of fun. So this should be kind of tingling and setting. The other thing I would mention as this mask is ending, if there's anything like when I or whomever asked you, what would you change or improve about your skin, or what type of skin do you have? How do you describe it? If there was anything in there that you described that was not positive, I would just take that as a mental note, feedback and information for yourself that it's maybe not you, but maybe whatever products you're currently using aren't doing their job and not doing what you need them to do, because you shouldn't have answers that are not mostly positive. Obviously, we all have seasonal weird stuff, and like we live in a dry climate sometimes, and that really can be rough on our skin, and then the sun can be really rough on our skin. So, but you should have the right tools to be able to combat most of those things and definitely alleviate most of those things. So just food for thought. Maybe your skincare is not doing what you need it to do. So if there's ever a time to try something out, maybe now is that time. We're going to let this sit for a second here, and then we're going to wash it off. So 5 to 10 minutes is usually the range. So I'm going to go ahead, take my washcloth, get it wet, and start rinsing. If you did your neck, do not forget to wash that off. And so anywhere you had this on, take it off. And your skin is, again, going to look brighter, fresher, feel softer. If you're really dry though, it might be a little bit too much right now, and that's okay. It's your first time. If your skin is feeling good to this point, or like you're noticing good positive changes, like my skin is brighter, my skin is softer, my skin feels healthier. We've done really good stuff. We cleansed, and then we exfoliated and really polished our skin with the microdermabrasion. And then we got to detox our skin with a charcoal mask, and now we renewed our skin with this and really got like the newest, freshest skin to the surface. Got all that. You can do this treatment, like I said, up to twice a month, I would say is a good amount, like every other week. And if you're seeing these results like with one treatment, just think of how much you could see by continuing this treatment on a regular basis. All of these products, all of these like full size, sorry, I always do that. I move out of frame. All of these full size products, the supplemental ones, these have about 25 to 30 or even a little bit more uses in them. So all of these are going to be a year supply if you're just doing this facial. And if you're using it a couple times a month, it's going to last you, between 6 to 8 months. So I like that too, because I want to be affordable. The next thing we're going to do real quick is we are going to come back to this pink one with the microdermabrasion. we're going to use this one called Pore Minimizer. Those come as a set. They are best friends. You can get them individually when you run out though. So this is the Pore Minimizer full tube. It's a pump. This is kind of like a serum. A little bit's going to go a long way. And because we've gotten all this dead skin and all this stuff off, your products are really going to glide and slide. Whereas like sometimes you're like, oh, I really got to move it and it's sticking and I got to put more on now. This is going to move really nicely. You can put this all over your face. I don't really use it on my neck, but you could. When I put stuff on, I'm either going to do the spread out method and like pat it into different places and then start rubbing, because I find that if we just start with like put it all here, then it all is there, if that makes sense. It's all going to concentrate there. So I like to pat it into different places and then spread it around. And so this is going to soothe our skin after we've done, you know, like this pretty intense exfoliation. It's going to help soothe our pores. It's not in replace of a moisturizer though, but it has like really good properties of that, and just calming our skin, replenishing it. This can also be used on a daily basis. If you have large pores or just, you know, sensitive skin or pores that need some extra love, let's say, you can use this every day, morning and evening in your routine. So the next thing we're going to do is something super duper fun. We're going to do an eye treatment. So you should have this. It's a square in your packet and it says Hydrogel eye patches. And it's a little funky to get out. But when you get it, when you like purchase these, they come in this jar. So there's 30 pairs in this jar and they actually come with a little spatula. As you're getting these out, just know that the company is like too generous. And in that sample, there is so much hydrogel. Like there's way more than you need and they get really, really slippery. I would suggest like scraping the gel off, because otherwise they tend to like slide down our face because they're just too hydrated. So I would remove as much of that gel product as you can. When you get it in a jar, you can't really see. There it is. It looks like this. It has a spatula and this cover is keeping these hydrated. Okay, so they kind of look like little tadpoles in there. I like to just scoop one out. You can do it either way, but typically the bigger end goes on the outer part. So we're going to do it like right here. But some people's eye shape and face shape, it works better to flip it and put the smaller part on the outside. So whatever one works for you. I'm kind of spreading the gel over it, making it even. And then I'm going to pop it on. It reminds me of putting my contacts in, which I don't have anymore, but I used to for like 10 years. So I'm going to spread it and put it in there. Again, yours are going to be super duper duper slippery, and I just want you to know they're not like that in the jar. You can take that excess gel though and like put it on your upper eyelid a little bit, spread that around, like feel free. Whenever I have extra, I put it up here. There is this one makeup artist that is super famous, like she's done it all, but now she exclusively supports Mary Kay. She doesn't work for Mary Kay, but she like supports the brand and she does like fun trainings for us and stuff as consultants. So that's the other thing, like you just get access to so much information and really good education. But anyway, she encourages us to use these under our eyes and then also like on our eyelids and then on our frown lines. So I thought that was pretty cool. What we're doing with these have tons of like phytonutrients, botanicals, all that stuff. So the number one thing we're doing is we're hydrating. My favorite thing. Our eyes, like I said, they don't produce any moisture. And so that's why they wrinkle first. That's why you have under eye puffiness. That's why you have dark bags, because there's just like no circulation happening under there really. And so these help with all of those things. If you are experiencing any stinging sensation right now, that is because your skin is so broken down and dehydrated and damaged, and we have something called a moisture barrier on our face, which helps lock in the moisture we have and keep other stuff out that we don't want. So it's like once you pass through, it's helping retain it. But if you experience stinging, that is the sign of a broken down, damaged moisture barrier. I also like to put mine here because I have like a little damage right here. I feel like a lot of people do, just from like blowing our nose and all that stuff. So this is going to help with that. The stinging. As you repair your moisture barrier, that symptom goes away. It's kind of like when you get like windburn and then you put, some moisture of whatever type on there, and it stings. It's kind of the same concept. Your skin is like damaged. It has too much stuff removed from it, moisture-wise. Okay, we are going to do something real fun now. We are going to grab your pod that says scrub and balm. And what this is this is going to be our lip products. Most people don't know, like, your lips do not exfoliate themselves like your face, and they don't hydrate themselves. And so we don't really think about this. We're going to use the one that says scrub. You might have enough for 2 applications, so just kind of gauge that, but it's the more gritty one. This is our Shea Sugar Scrub. You're going to take a little bit, no moisture or no water needed, and you're going to scrub your lips. You're going to exfoliate them. And you're just going to go ahead and start scrubbing. It takes a little effort. Most of us don't ever think about this. We're like, oh, I didn't know I could do that to my lips. This has shea butter in it too, so we're not overdoing it. Like I said, we always want to do it the most gentle path possible. We don't want to just strip everything out of our skin, so we're also giving it some hydration while we exfoliate, so we don't strip it of everything that it needs, all that moisture we want to retain. And you could do this in the shower too. Keep this in the shower. This is fine to do on like every other day basis, I would say, if you feel like you need to. I'm exposing some skin there, some dead skin. So just keep scrubbing, and whenever you're done, go ahead and take it off. Most people don't realize, like, your skin is supposed to be, the skin on your lips is really like a pinky or a red tone. And ours tend to be dulled and white because, like our face, there's all that dead skin buildup. And we're constantly dealing with the elements of wind and sun and all that stuff. So we just have, my lips are always dry, always chapped, always something, until I started using this. So, and then you follow up with the side that says balm. You don't need a lot, and it's going to glide just like our other products are going to glide because we've gotten that dead skin off. This is what this looks like, like it's just a basic tube. This would be in replacement of a chapstick. And, I have one in my purse and by my nightstand and my desk and in my car and everywhere. This also has shea butter. So a lot of chapsticks have like a wax layer that just keeps putting a layer on your skin and a layer on your skin and a layer on your skin, but it doesn't penetrate and hydrate the area. So that's what makes ours different. Okay, the next thing we're going to do, we have to do a little bit of work here. You have this vial, this perfume vial, and then you have this empty. This is empty, but it says for nourishing oil. Reason being is oil leaks out of these, so I've had too many leak, and then people don't get to experience it. So this is what we have to do, but it's really hard to get out of here, in my opinion. So you got to open your pod, pop it open, and then you're going to open this. You have to be careful. I like to just turn it and slowly pull it up and just kind of work it that way. Pull this down is even easier, and then it'll pop off. Then you're going to take that, flatten it, pour it in there, right? So you're just going to pour this in here. And then we're going to get to use it. This is our nourishing oil. It is my favorite Mary Kay product, which is hard to say because they're all so wonderful. But this is our naturally nourishing, Mary Kay naturally nourishing oil. It has 3 types of oils. It has olive oil, almond oil, and sesame oil. And then it has squalene and other really great products. It's really, highly processed, made for the face. So I would suggest when I do this, I usually do 2 drops because it comes in a dropper like this. I would suggest like dip your finger in, just like pat it in, put it here, pat it in, put it here, pat it in, put it up here, and then start rubbing. This goes a long way, and it's 100% natural ingredients. So if that's super important to you, all of our products follow the European guidelines because the US has like no guidelines for skincare, and they can put whatever they want in the skincare in this country. So something to also be aware of. So we follow the European guidelines, which ban over like 1,400 ingredients and just have better, stricter, higher standards. And then this product in particular is 100% natural. So my favorite, it's so replenishing and nourishing, just like it says. You can also do the neck if you would like to, or like I always do, but if you want to save this, I gave you about 8 drops and I use 2 to 3 on a day. So you'll notice it smells really nice too. That is natural vanilla, which is my favorite. So I just love it. My daughter uses this. She's 6. So this would be a really nice product for them to just start getting hydration in their skin. And I just love it. So, and it absorbs really well because we did all that hydration. If you ever have a hard time with this oil absorbing, it means your skin's not exfoliated enough. It's getting caught up on those dead skin cells. This is so good for like if you have really dry skin, I recommend you using it. Anyone with dry skin using this. And it also helps with repairing, like if you have redness in your skin that is due to damaged and dehydrated skin. When I started pairing this, when it came out with the strip that we used here, this resolved the redness that I've had in my face here and like around my nose in about 4 to 5 months, which I've had my whole life from just sun damage and dehydration. So I love, love, love that oil. You can use it on your cuticles, your hair ends, stuff like that, because it's 100% natural. And then, so we have one more thing to use. And where is it? Here it is. We're going to use our hydrating moisture renewing gel mask. This is what it looks like. Again, you get 25 to 30 uses, or I think even more. You don't need a lot, like a pea amount. This is going to spread really easy. Like I'm using like this much to start. And I'm just going to put it in different spots and then start spreading. Like I said, otherwise I feel like the whole thing kind of gets stuck in one area. This is a gel mask, like I said. It has botanicals, has glycerin. It's really great even for oily skin because it's a gel and it's thin. It's not thick and heavy. This is almost kind of like the eye gel patches for the face, in my opinion. So this is going to help retain moisture in your skin. Like we said, we need that even with oily skin. We need to balance it out because there's hydration and then there's optimal hydration. There's like a level, a sliding scale of like, I put moisturizer on my face, but that doesn't mean it's hydrated. And so oftentimes, even with oily skin, when we're dehydrated, we need lots of layers of moisture, lots of thin layers of moisture to insulate the hydration to get it to the level it needs to be so we can have like a new homeostasis of like hydrated skin. So I'm always using this on a daily basis, like with that moisturizer that we tried on the back of our hand and on our wrist. Like these are 2 of my layers that I'm using. And then I'm using a couple others too, a lot of times, especially in the winter. There's no moisture in the air, so we need to replace that with more products. And I help you customize all of that stuff. So this gel mask also can sit on for 10 minutes and you can rinse it off and like finish out your skincare. Then you could do like your moisturizer. Or if it's bedtime for you right now, leave it on overnight. It's a really great overnight treatment. And in the morning, your skin will be super soft. It'll be glowing. Your makeup, if you're a makeup wearer, you're going to need a lot less and it's going to glide, just like our products kind of did. It's going to move well. So something I want to note is that if you are overwhelmed, like if you get this whole facial bundle and you're like, that was a lot, that's okay. I'm going to review it. And like I said, if you are interested in recreating this at home, You can get this enough. One of everything will last you enough for an entire year of facials, and that's at the rate of doing it twice a month. So imagine what your skin would feel like. And this facial is great for, like I said, maintaining what you have. It's also really good if like you're a little bit lazy on your daily skincare. It's a really good reset because it's doing those deeper things. So if you haven't been keeping that level throughout the week, it kind of gives you that boost of like resetting everything in your skin. If you have dry skin, I'm going to recommend always the Time Wise that we tried, the microdermabrasion kit that we talked about, the pore minimizer, and that exfoliating scrub. And then if you want to even do more, adding on the nourishing oil. If you have really oily skin or like combination skin, this set for you, again, it's going to take less than 3 minutes. The microdermabrasion, because again, exfoliation is for everyone, and I think it's non-negotiable, and it's like the forgotten step that's super important. And then adding the charcoal mask and the gel mask that we just put on. This is going to be the best form of like getting excess oil out and then replenishing with the right thin, cooling hydration. So that is what I would recommend if you're overwhelmed and you're like, but where do I start? Always start with like your basic daily skincare, the Time Wise. Adding on the exfoliation, no matter what, if you want to go like to the next step. And then if you're dry, adding in the nourishing oil. If you're more oily, adding in the clay charcoal mask and the moisture renewing gel mask to keep yourself hydrated and balanced. So I hope your skin is feeling really good. I hope you learned a lot, and remember that you can continue to learn with me through social media, through customization. I work really closely with all my clients. So if it's something you're interested in, everything's 100% satisfaction guaranteed. We offer trials of our daily skincare, and it's just my pleasure to teach you about these things and keep helping you on your journey. So I hope you really loved your facial. I hope you got to relax. I hope your skin feels pampered, you feel pampered, and hopefully you will be super excited to continue your skincare journey and learn more in the future. So thanks for joining me.